So I just came across a very interesting article. I've read so many different descriptions about the gang stalking program. There's so many different perspectives. This is from Progress Ion. Never heard of them, but it's very interesting. And it starts by asking, who are the gang stalkers? So gang stalking, aka community mobbing, the game, the program, as it's known, is not a crime that exclusively involves gangs, such as the Bloods, Crips, or MS-13. Reports of gang stalking have primarily involved large numbers of what appear to be ordinary people. The one thing these people have in common is membership in an association, fraternal group, and or extremist group. However, in some cases, there's simply a relationship with someone who's a member of one of these groups. Gang stalkers are also usually tied to racism and or vigilante extremism. Example, the Proud Boys, militias, vigilantes, and or Punisher fans. Some examples of groups involved in gang stalking include some or all members of the following: college fraternities and sororities, Lions Club, Ku Klux Klan, current and former members of the police, national security agencies, and the military. Cult groups such as the Freemasons, Shriners, Sovereign Citizens, and Illuminati are also heavily involved in gang stalking or revenge-related activities. These fraternal and Masonic cult group members play a large role in gang stalking campaigns. Their memberships in these groups make them more apt to be loyal, obedient, and in some cases, trained in secret law enforcement and or military weapons techniques. Members of the FBI-affiliated organization InfraGard have also been suspected of involvement in gang stalking activities. However, gang stalking campaigns are often initiated, organized, and run by extremist and or vigilante revenge-for-hire private security agencies with ties to corrupt government officials, programs, secret courts, and organized crime. What is gang stalking? Those fraternal members who participate in gang stalking work as a unit to destroy every positive and essential aspect of the target's life. They do this in part by relentlessly harassing the target nonstop throughout the day and night. Typically, this harassment takes the form of numerous seemingly innocuous and unintentional acts. However, these acts are indeed intentional and meant to annoy, disturb, scare, and in many cases, cause discomfort and other ill effects. Examples of these acts of harassment include online bullying, character assassination, street theater, and they give an example, character assassination in street theater, numerous drivers crossing the center line, cutting the target off in traffic, or suddenly speeding past in an effort to anger and frighten. Yep, been there. Typically, this happens numerous times in one day. Targets have also complained about unusual numbers of disturbances at all hours of the night. Employment problems are also a major factor for targets. Employment sabotage is accomplished through inappropriate placements of targets on watch lists, phone and computer hacking, including phone call and resume blocking and misdirecting, workplace sabotage, and other harassment from a massive global network of over 3 million members. It is widely believed that not all of the perpetrators of this crime understand its true purpose. Also, many are likely misinformed that the target is a terrorist or a criminal. Because the majority of harassment takes place outside the view of most witnesses and is not easily identifiable in single acts as malicious and intentional, targets are challenged with both proving the reality of this crime and their sanity. So how can something so complex that involves so many be executed? Today's technology allows for many tasks that were once very complex to be made simple. Also, many people are unaware of the newer technologies and the fact that criminals are using this technology to their advantage. As detailed in the news videos and articles, gang stalking targeted individuals have described being followed and harassed wherever they go throughout the day. Most of us are familiar with GPS. However, there are newer technologies that also allow stalking and offline harassment to easily be accomplished by large groups of people. So how and why do they select their targets? Most individuals who are targets fall into one or more of the following categories. Someone who's involved in a civil dispute, legal or otherwise. Whistleblowers, ex-girlfriends, ex-boyfriends, or ex-spouses. Minorities, women, and people who live alone. This criminal network prefers to have as few witnesses as possible. As such, single people comprise a majority of the targets, as do women. We believe that because women are better able to handle stress and or depression in a nonviolent manner towards others, which makes them a prime target because they do not call too much attention to this crime. Minorities are also a big target in that many of the fraternal groups harbor racist views and or operate in segregated fraternities. But I thought they wanted us to commit crime, so that doesn't make sense, but whatever. So what's the major motivation behind this crime? This evil and cowardly crime suggests an effort to cause suicide, a psychiatric facility commitment, incarceration, and or serious physical health problems leading to death. There is strong evidence that the root cause is organized crime, pardon me, resulting from a policy of liberally granting government contracts, excessive authority, and total immunity to government security officials and agencies, private defense contractors, and various other private companies. This is all being done in the name of national security. Sadly, additional spin-off crimes have increased as a consequence of these liberal government practices. Examples would be identity theft, cybercrime, contract killings, race, ethnicity, harassment, voyeurism, gambling, illegal organ trafficking, and fraudulent offshore life insurance. How does gang stalking impact me? In many incidents of mass shooting, the perpetrators stated they were being unfairly and relentlessly stalked and harassed by police officers and others. If this was indeed the case, innocent people lost their lives due to gang stalking and its associated crimes. Unsafe roadways. Large numbers of gang stalkers and targeted individuals are on the roads is a nightmare waiting to happen. Innocent people, including children and infants, are likely to become victims. So just to add to that, I made a video about watching people texting while they were driving on the highway and on the roads. And it makes it very unsafe for not only the targeted individual, but everybody on the road with them. The trashing of neighborhoods is a negative impact. So neighborhoods where targeted individuals live are known to suddenly have increased amounts of trash and debris. I can agree with that. And a negative impact on businesses. Businesses are being impacted by growing numbers of unemployed targeted individuals. Bills are not being paid, and there's a reduction in the purchase of non-essential products and services. Growing numbers of employers are being forced to pay unemployment unnecessarily as a result of job sabotage due to gang stalking. Gang stalkers are notorious for making noise with the express intent of startling and or disturbing the target individual's sleep. This noise often includes numerous honking horns, shouts, revving engines, barking dogs, and other disturbances. These disturbances particularly take place in the early morning hours. Although this noise is intended primarily for the target, anyone nearby or in a residence in close proximity to the target is also affected. Then there's the negative impact on the government and on taxpayers. The government and taxpayers are also impacted by large numbers of individuals forced to make use of government services, such as disability and food stamps. Unnecessary bankruptcy filings are also a consequence. Sadly, unemployment figures do not accurately reflect targeted individuals who have simply given up looking for employment due to hopelessness resulting from past job sabotage. This is a big one. Unnecessary pollution and exposure to dangerous toxins. Targeted individuals have reported substantially increased levels of toxins in the areas that they live, the areas where they frequent and travel to. These toxins include heavier than usual car and truck exhaust fumes, unusually heavy amounts of smoke from fires, pepper spray, strong air deodorizers, strong perfumes, insecticides, and other toxins. These liquid toxins are sprayed on and around the target's vehicle and home. Sadly, there appears to be no consideration for individuals with weakened immune systems, children, pets, infants, or the environment. You or someone you know could easily become a target. As was detailed earlier in this section, this crime has impacted large numbers of innocent people who happen to be involved in matters that range from being a whistleblower to something as routine as breaking up with a boyfriend. Sadly, corrupt Mason revenge for hire private security businesses are on the rise. This reality, along with the increasing demand for organ donors, has created a ruthless yet profitable business for organized crime groups. As the population grows, the need for organs continues to increase, and these criminals will only become more desperate and ruthless in their efforts to capitalize on this growing need. So organ donation is an angle that I have not yet visited. It's the first time I've heard of this. Love to hear your feedback, folks.